We need to start, of course, with news. It's everywhere, all over the front pages, as you would expect, about the death of the Pope.
Yes.
It's weird, isn't it? You don't hear anything really in this country about him. Not that much, anyway.
No, I mean, we're
and
not
then
a Catholic
he dies,
country, but...
huge.
Yeah, of course, because he has a massive global following around the world. Catholicism is still the largest religion of any particular denomination around the world. He passed away yesterday, aged 88. We knew he was ill. He'd had pneumonia and he'd been in and out of hospital and been seriously ill. He didn't look well on Easter Sunday, although he did manage to go out and address the crowd.
But that's amazing that he did that just before he died.
It's that sense of duty, isn't it? A bit like with the Queen, you know, they keep going and keep going right to the very end, no matter how ill they are. So the cardinals are meeting in Rome this morning, and this is where we get into the really fascinating, centuries-old pomp and ceremony and process. So they're meeting to decide about his funeral, but also about the conclave. And anyone who's seen the film
we're all experts.
will know
We're all experts.
This is where it gets juicy.
Because I had no idea what went on, but now, of course, I've seen the movie, which finds I know everything.
And I found it fascinating yesterday. I met two of the English cardinals who will be going to the Vatican to be part of the conclave, and they were excited themselves. I mean, obviously, they were saying to me how sad it was that Pope Francis had passed away and paying tribute to him, but you could tell they were really, really intrigued to see what the conclave was going to be like, because they hadn't been to one. And they were, both of them, about sort of 79 and a half, and you've got to be under 80 to go and vote in the conclave. So you could tell they were actually quite sort of excited that they just squeezed in.
It is quite remarkable what goes on and all of the you know, the kind of pomp and circumstance, if you like. Because, like, in the past hour, they've just released pictures of, well, his body, really, lying in state, if you like. We shan't show you all of them, but that gives you an idea.
3 days he lies in state.
I know.
I wouldn't like that for myself now, I don't think.
No. But he's an interesting pope. He seemed to be, like, he was very well loved. And he seemed to be, he was open to, you know, building bridges, and he seemed to me, and again, we've seen the movie, The Two Popes, but, you know, he seemed to be a very kind person.
Yeah, they call him the People's Pope. Because although, you know, in some ways we can sort of overstate it, because at the end of the day, Catholic doctrine is still as it was before he was Pope. The rules of Catholicism, if you like, haven't changed. But what he added to it was this sort of edge of compassion. So, for example, homosexuality is still a sin if you're a Catholic. But his approach was, well, let's not be too judgmental about it. Let's not, you know, let's not go around castigating gay people. Let's try and be a bit more understanding and a bit kinder about it.
And it's just sort of maybe pushing the boundaries a wee bit, so it'll be really interesting to see who's after him.
Exactly.
Whether it's going to be somebody who's progressive or is it going to be a hardliner?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, and that's always... And often with these conclaves, it's a surprise. You don't know who it's going to be until they actually come out and emerge.
I do think they have to have somebody progressive again, though. I think that it will keep going that way.
It depends. I mean, in the film, remember what happened?
The Catholic Church is doing pretty well in Britain at the moment, actually. It's really interesting. There's a really interesting study over the weekend that showed the number of people going to church, to Catholic churches, and actually all churches in Britain, is up, which is kind of counter to what we normally hear, right? Everyone talks about the decline of Christianity. It's up. So, in that vein, like you're saying, Vogue, if they're already doing quite well at the moment, why change anything? Maybe keep going down that progressive road.
In that way, you're right. So interesting, we talked about the Queen and about sense of duty. And, of course, the poor old Queen, just before she toddled off, she met Liz Truss, didn't she? Yeah. And the Pope, the last person we understand, one of the last people, J.D. Vance, got an audience, and then the Pope was away.
Yeah, and this was kind of interesting politically as well, because, again, this comes back to the Pope and his principles and his compassion, because the Pope actually fell out, I think it's fair to say, with the Trump administration over the issue of migrants, for example. Because his approach was compassion towards migrants, whereas, you know, obviously Trump and J.D. Vance want to pull up the drawbridge. So it's quite fascinating, really, that the last meeting he had was with someone who he's completely in disagreement with.
But also shows you that he was willing to sit down with people that he didn't agree with, and that is a huge thing, because the way that the world is now, we all know how polarised people are, and that they don't talk to one another anymore. You know, nobody comes into the middle to have these really important conversations, and you're only going to change things if you do that.
Yeah, and he did that. Famously, he got the Israeli Prime Minister, or I think it might have been the President, and the Palestinian President together in the Vatican to sit. I mean, imagine that now, right?
No.
It just seems totally
I know, but he's probably... That office is probably one of the few that could do that.
Exactly.
So it'll be fascinating to see what happens. Trying to build bridges. Which is what we like. Yeah, fantastic. So that will be happening. Vogue, this is a strange one. I mean, talk about gear change.
Hard-hitting news stories from me, Lorraine.
Yes, now, this is terribly important.
Very important.
It's about how you can recognise your friends through not through sort of like getting to know them, but through a sense.
Through the way they smell.
Seriously?
Yes.
Behave.
So women in just 4 minutes can decide if they're going to be friends with another woman by the way she smells. Yeah.
Just girls, not boys.
Girls, well, I feel like that. I walked to get my mic on and I was like, wow, you smell amazing. Straight away I noticed people smell. Are you not like that?
No.
I would be. Lorraine, I like you because you smell so nice. You smell so clean.
Isn't that funny? So it's not like you know how we talk about that you're attracted to somebody because they smell good.
It's the same as being attracted to a friend. If they smell nice, if you share the same kind of body odours as well, that's another thing that you're attracted to. If you don't like a smell, like I've been in a taxi, I'm like, that reminds me of someone I don't like, and then I don't like the taxi driver.
So it's not like really a sexy thing. It's just.
It can be a sexy thing, it can be a very non-sexy thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad we cleared that up. We heard George Clooney before the break saying he's never had an argument with Amal. Paul and Vogue with me. Vogue, both of you actually. Can you have a relationship without an argument?
I don't know if I'd be fighting with Amal, to be fair. I think he's doing the right thing.
Just say yes.
She's going to win every single argument.
She's so bright and so clever. And you would just say, yes.
I think there's a difference between an argument, though, and a disagreement. I'm sure they have disagreements.
Of course.
But
not screaming, shouting.
Not screaming, shouting.
I hate you.
Yeah,
no,
I think you get to an age where screaming, shouting like that is just something that was in your 20s, really.
Yeah, true. But I do think an argument is a sign of a passionate relationship as well. Don't you need to disagree to show that you care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are some couples that can scream and shout at each other and then it's over.
Yeah.
And no grudges.
No.
They just shout and then it's like, oh, and what do you want for your tea?
I'd be a terrible one for holding a grudge now.
Oh, yeah. Being in the off.
Yeah, and I'm really good at it as
Being
well.
in the total off. They were saying, though, that perhaps sleeping apart, if you have got more than one bedroom in your house, that's the way. It's like a sleep divorce.
Yeah, Joss Stone was saying that she sleeps apart from her husband. And who else? Cameron Diaz said it as well, that she sleeps apart.
Yeah, but they've got hundreds of houses and bathrooms, haven't they?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's all right, hundreds of rooms.
I don't really like sleeping on my own.
No.
But some people find it much easier to sleep apart.
Yeah, I sleep in the spare room quite a lot, especially if I'm up early, like this morning, shifts.
Me too.
And having a little one who's 3, 4, coming into our bed, actually just need the space sometimes. If there's 3 of us in the bed, no one's getting a good night's sleep because there's elbows and knees everywhere. So...
Especially when they get a bit older.
Yeah.
But I do love that when they sneak in. It really is lovely.
It's
now, look, tell me, Vogue, about this new AI trend, which I can't wait to see this.
There is an AI dog trend where you can basically turn your dog into what he would look like if he was a human.
Really?
Yeah. Of course, we started with Christine Lampard's dog.
Yes, sure.
So here, that is what. I think they're so brilliant.
Is that Christine's dog as a person?
So that's Christine's dog as a person.
Okay. She looks like she should work for the United Nations or something. She's really intelligent and everything.
Looks really smart.
Really bright lady. She looks like a teacher.
Let's see what your dog looks like.
Go on,
Let's see what Angus looks like.
Oh, look at him. That's a dog. Oh, my God! It's my dad! That's my dad! You've just put a picture of my dad up there. And he looks so hangdog because Angus's default position is to look really miserable. Can't help it. Oh, my gosh, that is the funniest.
It's so clever.
That's
is
my
he that
dad.
age, though, in dog years? It makes everyone look quite old, does it? All
Yeah,
the dogs look quite old.
well, he's not his
dogs
age.
are so smart looking.
Yeah, he's 8.
Maybe then, maybe.
Right. And here's my 2 dogs. We did Winston and Bertie.
Go. Daddle, daddle, daddle.
Oh, no.
Oh, they're adorable.
Oh, your dogs are really handsome.
Oh, they're so cute.
I think Bertie's done well for himself out of that one.
With the ears. So they're not real people. They've just been generated by computer.
AI-generated people. I mean, I know I don't love AI, but for things like that, I love it so much.
Hours of amusement.
Wouldn't you love to know what your dogs are saying, though, and what they would look like if they're humans?
Always. So Angus is like a kind of quite grumpy old guy. Do you know what? Yeah. Absolutely.
Look at genius.
Oh my God.
At least we know that dogs don't look like their owners now. It could have been worse, Lorraine. Imagine you popped up in that photo.
I do look like my dad, so actually...
It's actually so funny.
That's brilliant. Oh, geez, I don't know how we can top that, to be honest, but thank you both very much. Good to see you. Well, that's a wrap for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We have all the best moments from the show right here on the channel, and if you like this video, then we think you'll love this one. See you next time.